1. The vanishing guest. Bates Motel, 1987. The rain came down in needles, stabbing at my windshield as my headlights carved through the blackness. I'd been driving for 9 hours straight, my eyes sandpaper dry, my fingers locked around the wheel like rigor mortis had already set in. The highway was a graveyard, no cars, no lights, just the endless hiss of tires on wet asphalt. That's when I saw the sign. BATESMOTEL. The neon buzzed like a dying wasp, flickering between VCANCY and VCANY, as if the letters themselves were too tired to stay lit. I didn't want to stop. Something about the place made my skin prickle, the way the shadows clung to the office windows, the way the lot was empty except for one rusted-out Chevy with flat tires. But my gas was low. My body was shutting down. I parked and stepped into the downpour. The air smelled like wet earth and something else, something spoiled. Like meat left out too long. The lobby was a time capsule. Wood paneling, a rotary phone, a TV playing static in the corner. Behind the desk sat a man who looked like he'd been taxidermied, his skin too tight, his eyes too still. "Room?" he asked, not looking up. "Just for the night." He slid a key across the counter. "Room 13. You're the only one on that floor," he said, his voice like gravel in a tin can. "Rest of them's closed for renovation." I took the key. The hallway was a tunnel of dread. The carpet squished underfoot, waterlogged and reeking of mildew. The walls were papered in a sickly floral pattern, peeling at the seams like dead skin. Room 13's door groaned open, revealing a space frozen in 1972. A sagging bed with a mustard yellow spread. A TV with rabbit ears. A nightstand with a rotary phone, the cord chewed through. And then I saw the suitcase. Black leather, cracked with age, sitting at the foot of the bed, open. Inside, a woman's blouse, a pair of heels, a hairbrush tangled with long, dark strands. My throat tightened. "Hello," I called out. Silence. Then a drip from the bathroom. The door was ajar, the light on. The shower was running. I should have turned around. Should have sprinted back to my car and burned rubber out of there. But curiosity is a fatal disease. I pushed the door open. The mirror was fogged except for 2 words, scrawled in something dark and wet. HELPME. My breath hitched. The shower curtain was closed. Something moved behind it. A hand pale, bloated, fingers curled like a spider's leg slid out from the gap. And then the curtain ripped open. The police found me at dawn, sitting in the parking lot, soaked in rain and something else. They asked me what happened. I couldn't tell them. Because the thing in the shower had my face. And when they checked room 13, they found nothing. No suitcase. No message on the mirror. Just a single wet footprint leading to the bed. As if someone had climbed in and waited. 2. The knock at 3 a.m. The Blackwood Inn, 1999. You ever wake up to a sound that shouldn't be there? Not a scream. Not a crash. Just a knock. Soft, patient, like whatever's on the other side knows you're listening. I checked into the Blackwood Inn on a Tuesday, my head pounding from 8 hours of white-knuckling through a storm. The place was a relic cracked stucco, flickering vacancy sign, the kind of motel where the carpet smells like cigarettes and bad decisions. The clerk didn't speak, just slid me a brass key with a tag that read 316. "Elevators busted," he muttered. stairs at the end of the hall. The third floor was a tomb. No lights, no sounds, just the groan of old pipes and the whisper of something skittering behind the walls. Room 316 was at the end, a dim, boxy space with a sagging bed and a TV that looked like it hadn't worked since Reagan was president. The bathroom mirror was cracked, a spiderweb fracture splitting my reflection into jagged pieces. I didn't sleep. Not because of the room, because of the knocking. 3 a.m. Tap, tap, tap. 3 gentle raps on the door. I sat up, heart slamming against my ribs. "Hello?" I called. Silence. I crept to the door, pressed my eye to the peephole. The hallway was empty, then knocking from the bathroom. A wet, muffled thud against the tile. I grabbed the bedside lamp, yanked the bathroom door open. Nothing. Just the sink faucet dripping. Plink, plink. I turned it off. The knocking stopped. I called the front desk. "Yeah, I'm in 316, I said. "There's someone." The clerk cut me off. "Sir, that room doesn't exist." Click. The TV snapped on. Static. Then a grainy black and white image. Me, sleeping in the bed. The camera panned left. A figure stood in the corner, tall, thin, watching. The screen cut to snow. The door locked itself. The cops found me the next morning, babbling, clawing at the walls. They said I'd been alone the whole time, but they never checked under the bed, where the carpet was stained black, and the floorboards had been scratched to hell, like something had been trying to dig its way out. 3. The last checkout. The Sunset Motel, 2004. The clerk had one rule: don't answer the door after midnight. I should have listened. The Sunset Motel crouched on Route 66 like a sick animal waiting to die. Its neon sign sputtered SUNAT in bleeding pink letters, attracting moths and bad decisions. I pulled in just before 2 a.m., my Chevy's engine ticking like a time bomb in the desert silence. The night manager was a walking corpse, yellow eyes, nicotine fingers, and breath that smelled like something had died in his throat. He slid me a key attached to a cracked plastic tag. Room 214. "Checkout's at 11, he rasped. "But you'll want to be gone by dawn." I should have asked what he meant. The room smelled like old blood and Lysol. The wallpaper peeled in long strips, revealing stains that looked disturbingly like handprints. The bed sagged in the middle, its sheets stiff with something crusted into the fibers. I sat on the edge, listening to the scratching inside the walls. "Rats," I told myself. Then the knocking started. Not on my door. Inside the bathroom. 3 slow, deliberate raps against the mirror. I threw the light on. The glass was fogged except for 2 words written in greasy fingerprints. LETMEOUT. At 3:17 a.m., someone knocked on my actual door. A woman stood in the hallway, soaking wet. Her blue dress clung to skeletal limbs, water pooling at her bare feet. Her hair hung in rotting strands, her lips cracked and bleeding. "I'm in 214, she whispered. "He won't let me leave." I slammed the door so hard the painting fell off the wall. Behind it, DONOTDISTURB scrawled in what looked like nail polish. Or blood. Morning brought cops and crime scene tape. A maid had found something in room 214, not the one I was in, but the real 214, the one hidden behind a false wall at the end of the hall. A body, wrapped in shower curtains. Her fingers worn down to nubs from scratching at the concrete. The clerk turned white when I described the woman at my door. "That's impossible," he said. 214's been sealed since 78. Nobody's been in there. Then why did my bathroom mirror steam up that night? And why did my phone ring at 3:17 a.m. every night since? A wet voice whispering. "You let me in. Now I won't leave." 4. The Man in the Mirror. The Grand Victoria Hotel, 2011. I always cover mirrors in hotel rooms. You never know what's looking back. The Grand Victoria was the kind of place where rich people went to die quietly. Crystal chandeliers, Persian carpets so thick they swallowed sound, and a lobby that smelled like old money and older secrets. My room was 712, a lavish suite, with a 4-poster bed and a floor-to-ceiling mirror that took up the entire wall opposite the bed. I threw a sheet over it immediately. My grandmother taught me that trick. "Mirrors are doorways," she'd say, "and not everything that comes through knocks." 3:33 a.m. I woke to whispering. Not from the hallway. Not from the vents. From under the sheet covering the mirror. I sat up slowly, my skin prickling. The sheet bulged slightly, as if someone was pressing against it from the other side. Then, a fingertip pushed through. Pale, long, too long. I didn't scream. Fear had glued my throat shut. The finger hooked into the sheet and pulled it down. The man in the mirror wasn't my reflection. He stood behind where I should have been, his face stretched into a grin too wide for a human mouth. His eyes were black pits. His fingers tapped against the glass. Tap, tap, tap. Then his hand pushed through. The police found me in the hallway, clawing at the elevator doors. I was babbling about the mirror, about the man who stepped out of it, about how he whispered my name with a voice that wasn't a voice but something worse. They humored me. Checked the room. The mirror was gone. Just an empty wall where it had been. The manager swore there had never been a mirror there. But that night, in my new hotel across town, I woke to tapping on my bathroom door. And when I looked in the mirror, I saw him standing behind me, smiling, waiting for me to turn around